What's good, folks? What's good? What's good? Hope y'all having a good day. Hope y'all are ready to watch me program. Hopefully, you guys are doing some programming, some work on your own, getting stuff done. I'm feeling good today. Feeling good. Let me not forget to share my screen. What's up, folks? How y'all doing? We got that. Okay. I'm noticing the mic is not doing its best work. Hopefully that cord's not like super damaged. Okay, well, it looks like it's okay now. Hopefully it's alright. Okay, so where were we at? Oh yeah. So last week we were doing what? We were doing. We almost got a panable canvas. Almost. It was close. It was a good effort. But we have little buttons now, so that's good. But the panning does not work. Not how I hoped it would, at least. That also didn't work. Interesting. Okay, hold on. I need to open up my to-do list. Okay. I need to make sure that that bug is documented. Squares only work when drawn top left to bottom right. And there are like 4 possibilities, right? Because you could do, so you draw most of them like this, but you can also draw them like this. That crashes. Okay. You can also draw them like this. Nope, like this. That also crashes. And last but not least, you could do bottom right to top left, and that will probably also crash, won't it? Yep. Okay, cool. There's going to be some conditional logic there based on if the x and y value like of one is greater than the other. Yeah, there's going to need to be some work there for sure. Unfortunately. That's okay though. That's fine. That's fine. That's all right. That's all right. So okay, the big thing I wanted to look at is this variable. I want to see this mouse movement vector. I want to see how that acts as we pan the screen. Because if that's right, then that means that the set top, set left isn't working correctly. We might have to set a different property. That might be the case. And so obviously this mouse movement, oh, it's 1-0. Is this a... Whoops. There's no way that this is a like integer. Is it integers? Are there no like decimals at all in WPF coordinates? Is that correct? I guess if we check X, it'll tell us. No, it's a double. It's a double. So it's not... Okay, so it is a decimal, yeah. Alright. Alright. It's not. It's not that. That's fine. And then let's get this mouse position and then E. So if we do this, why is there so many things in this? All right, I guess because it's inheriting window. Should it not be the first thing? Underscore? No, apparently it's not the first thing. Underscore mouse position. So we're talking 561.21 to 30. Okay, there we go. I'm learning how to better use the debugger, guys. I'm learning how to better use the debugger. And then I want this dot. That's tricky. That's tricky. Because E dot get position is not gonna be returned by default, right? Like that's not gonna be. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to find it in here. I don't know exactly what it's grabbing. I don't know exactly how it's working. I don't know where it would be getting this position from because it's a method, right? It's not. We can see what the docs say, but I don't know if they're going to be helpful, to be honest. Not sure if they're going to be helpful. Yeah, so it's relative to this. Turns X and Y coordinates of the mouse pointer relative to the specified object. Upper left corner of the frame of reference. Yeah. I mean, there should be a position of some sort, right? You would think. One would think that there's a position in here, but I don't know that that is actually correct. It could be mouse device. Probably not. Last position. Let's add to watch. That would make sense, right? And if the sender position, can we get a position from the sender? Maybe. There's a lot of is's. It would be a position that has 0 in it. It could be visual offset. That's possible. This is the canvas, right? Like this is the sender. That's what this is giving us, right? Let me grab this canvas. Because then we could just compare the properties of this. Bottom, left, right, top. So that's interesting, right? Like I don't know exactly how that works. I think anything is relative to the top left, right? That is how it works. Now, I don't know that there's an actual property for that position on the top left. No, that's not it. I'm not entirely sure. Because, like, sender has all this, right? Like, where does some of these come from? Probably parent methods, right? Like visual offset. That's actually here. Visual offset is gets or sets the offset value of the visual object. I don't know what that actually means, to be honest with you. That's pretty vague, or I'm not understanding. One or the other. Could be either or. And gets or sets the offset value of the visual object. Still not at all helpful. Okay, let's check what's the watch difference between these? They're both at 130. It is actually 40. So I think that is right. I think the visual offset is correct. What I am going to do, though, so I'm going to add this to watches. I'm going to stop this. And I want to get the current position. We don't have to necessarily change anything right now. Like, that's fun. That works, right? I just want to know what it is. I'm curious to see what it is. Oh, cool. These stay in the watches. That's so clutch. I don't like that they're just all points. Why? You're not going to tell me what the actual values are? Why? Why wouldn't you tell me what the values are? Like, that's ridiculous. What? It showed it to me before. It's showing me all of this right here. Let's do a hit count. We'll do 10. I can't believe it won't show me this. Like, that's ridiculous. Why wouldn't it show me that? Like, this shows me the point. Why? Yeah, it shows me the current position. It shows me that. But why isn't, like... Why aren't either one of these shown on here? That's terrible. Whatever. So it's 452. And that's 451. Okay, so those are really what I care about, right? Like, those are really what I care about. 452, 136, 452, 130, 450, 542, 136, and 541, 136. And so, as of right now, the sender like is the bottom, left, right, top, are these not just attached to it? Feels that they should be. No, they're not. Why? Why wouldn't they be? How do I know what the top, right, left, up, down values are? That's not... How do I get those? How do I get those? How would I do that? Nope, not like this. They're not static, right? Like, it's not... That's not how that works. I want to know... Because they're not... They're referred to as fields here. Like, that's weird. And then they're attached properties. I don't know, like, what do you mean attached properties? That's strange. To call it an attached property instead of a property. So I'm saying, like, I don't understand where those are. Because I wanted to know if... Like, I'm assuming this is correct. It's most likely correct. But then why is it not being shifted? So, part of it might have to do with the fact that this is get top instead of get left. I mean, that's definitely going to make it not work correctly, but this isn't doing anything. I don't think that would be the issue. In fact, get top is 0. So it should be setting the left to... uh, to 1. Which I guess top and left might be 0 and 1. No, they wouldn't be 0 and 1. It'd be 40. But even so, like, nonetheless, that's not the point. I want to know how to see the top and left and bottom and right, all of that. As we're looking at, you got background, children. There should be some sort of like offset or something. I mean, I guess there was the... There was the visual offset. That's not getting... I don't know exactly how this gets updated, but right now it's... whatever that is. Oh, it's actually already in there. Interesting. Yeah, I probably should have paid attention or like remembered that it was in there. But nonetheless, it's 40.70. No. I just saw it. It was 40.7.1. Or 40.7 and 1. No, it wasn't. No. Okay, I lied. I'm just lying through my teeth right now. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. I'm gonna run this again. So now we're at 8.1. This hasn't changed. Why not? I don't know. I don't know how you set this. Like, I don't know how you update it, I guess. Because what if I... No, that's not what I want to do. What if I just set the top to like 400? And then did the same thing here. Set the left to 400 as well. Would this change anything? Theoretically, you would think that when I drag this, it should move this from here to about here, because I'm pretty sure this is 400. It doesn't. It doesn't do that at all. And like we know it's getting caught there. And this is the right center. You know, like I know this is the right center. It's not another one. To update the position of a canvas. I mean, they're methods, so like it. Let's see what the methods say. Maybe I missed something when I was looking at them. I don't see any problem with it. The element to which the property value was written. Sets the top coordinate of the specified element. There should be no issue with this working. There should be no reason it doesn't work. So it obviously does it. I just don't know what... I hate that I can't see the values. All I can see is that visual offset. That's it. That's obviously not getting updated. Which does make sense because this is it right here. That's it. That's what I wanted to see. That was exactly what I wanted. I don't know how to see that. Where did that go? Should I have added it to the watch? It said I went to bookmarks. Where's bookmarks at? What? I don't know what this is doing. Why bookmarks? Why do I have bookmarks? I just show it at the top. Pin it. Why is it pinned to my bookmarks? It doesn't make any sense. Down here, final rack. That's this one. Oh, it's pinned to the top of this. All right, just add this to watches. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. That's fine. That makes a little more sense. This is the top left point. Windows controls canvas. Final rect. Why is final rect showed here? Okay. No. So there's a disconnect somewhere. I feel like I'm just not calling the right method, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like... But I don't know what it would be if it's not set top, set left. Like, why wouldn't it be that, right? It just doesn't really... I don't know. All right, we might just Google this to figure it out. I was trying to just like raw dog it, but it doesn't look like that's gonna work. I hate this. Why are they on different lines? If I do that, it goes there. If I do that, it goes there. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. Okay. There. That's fine. That's good. That's good. Okay. Guys, what? Why? Why is it like this? Why would it be like this? C#, WPF, canvas dot set top, not updating the position. All right, let's see what Stack Overflows has to say. Bro, get all these pop-ups out of here. Adding an async delay to allow time for the UI to render fixes the problem. So I've thought about the fact that it might need to re-render. Like it might need to render, but I don't know that there's a method to re-render, right? Like that doesn't... So initialize component. What? What's label? Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. There's a translate point method. It does appear that there is. Translate is the point relative to this element. Relative to this element, two coordinates that are relative to the specified element. So you pass in a point relative to whatever you're trying to move, and it moves it relative to another element. Oh, no, it literally translates the point. Why would this? Oh, I see, I see. He's saying he sets this to 0, 0, or he sets this canvas. He sets this label to 100, 100. Then translates the point 0, 0 to be relative to this canvas. So it should be at 100, 100. And then this is supposed to wait. But okay, so the problem is mine is not re-rendering at all. That's the problem. Is there something you have to do specifically to re-render? this should probably be stuff that's in. You know. This should just be stuff that's in, like, but where in the docs would this even be? I don't know. I always like to know what, like, the official way to do it is. And that if there's a better way, there's a better way. But is this relative to it? Data binding provides a simple and consistent way for apps to present and interact with data. Elements can be bound to data with different kinds of data sources, informed objects, XML. Any content controls such as buttons, any item controls, and any items control, such as list box, list view. Built-in functionality to enable flexible styling of single data elements, single data items, or collections of data items. Data binding is the process that establishes a connection between the app UI and the data it displays. This is exactly what I want. So there's target property, source object value path. So print metadata is going to do property metadata, text box, text property, get metadata. And then if metadata is whatever this is, then write all those things. So what triggers source updates? I want to know what triggers maybe I do. Maybe this is what I want. Two-way or one-way to source. Listen for changes in the target property and propagate them back to the source, known as updating the source. So which one's the but the target is the UI element, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to update the source. I want to update the target. Essentially. You know what I mean? One way, two way, one way, two source. I really just want this to go. No, I guess it needs to be two-way, right? The source needs to hear input from the target, from the UI. And then based on that, it needs to output. It needs to send information back. So it would be two-way. One-way binding causes changes to the source property to automatically update the target property. But changes to the target property are not propagated back to the source property. So it's read-only. Yeah. Two-way binding causes changes to either the source property or to the target property to automatically update each other. Programmatic way to determine a dependency property binds one way or two way by default is to get the property metadata with dependency property.getMetadata. The return type of this method is property metadata, which doesn't contain any metadata about binding. However, if this type can be cast to the derived framework property metadata, then the Boolean value of the framework property metadata dot binds two-way by default. What? That's absurd. Why would you do that? That's probably the most complicated sentence I've ever read in my entire life, but that's fine. Like, I get it, but also, nah. But this is almost one way to source. Like, it might not be, but it, like, low-key could be. Okay, so it's two-way. But, nonetheless. So I want a two-way. Listens for changes in the target property and propagates them back to the source. However, is your source value updated while you're editing the text or after you finish editing the text, the control loses focus? Binding to update source trigger property determines what triggers the update of the source. If the update source trigger value is property changed, then the value pointed to by the right arrow of two-way or one-way source bindings is updated as soon as the property changes. But if it's lost focus, then it will do it when you lose focus. Okay. But now, how do you create a binding? This is, I think, what I care about now. You establish a binding using the binding object. Huh. Very interesting. So it's saying each binding uses four components: a target, target property, binding source, and a path. Binding sources are tied to the active data context for the element. Elements automatically inherit their data context if they have not explicitly defined one. So the binding source object is a class named myData that's defined in the SDK sample namespace. So theoretically, in this, our source, we'd have to, set it here. But it would be the class main window. No? Right? Oh, wait a second. Can you put this in here? What? Wait a second. So now I'm like mega interested. Okay, so now grid resources. What? That's not at all what I pushed. Why would you do that? And then we would want to add a tag in here that's like no. It doesn't like that at all. It does not like that at all. I wonder why. My data is the class. But then saying key is my data source. See, I feel like I don't even know how these things work. Like, I don't understand this yet. I know this is it's XML namespace. XML namespace. I don't know what the X necessarily is. I think it's just a schema, right? But then the C is the code namespace. Maybe this is the XML namespace, and this is the code namespace. Yo, Beanless, what's good? How you doing? How you doing? Do you think AI is going to make everyone illiterate? I sure hope not. I don't think it's going to make everyone illiterate. No. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know that I have like a huge argument behind that, but that just feels extreme, I think. Because I know like AI is, a lot of people are using it to write a lot of stuff, and it's summarize, like a lot of people use it to yeah, but the youth's demeanor is always concerning. I feel like the youth's demeanor has been concerning in every generation, and then they like grow out of it, right? Like it's fine. But like even like when I was a kid, it was like, why do we need to learn anything, right? Like we can just Google everything. Like you can just Google everything. Why do we need to learn all this? Which some parts of that is true, some parts that's not, right? Like, do I really need to know, you know, like dates of wars and like the dates that people died, stuff like that? Probably not. Like, no, you can just Google that. Now, sometimes it's cool to know, and sometimes it's good to know. But I feel like it's the same way with AI, right? In my opinion, AI is just it's just like a search engine 2.0, you know? So it's really nice to use for things that you just want to know. You just want to know an answer, right? But it's not good for learning necessarily. It's good for getting fast answers, but not in-depth, detailed explanations. It's a really good starting point, I guess, for learning. But having AI do everything definitely prohibits your learning. If you just have AI, you know, write all your papers, do all your homework, write all your code for you, do all your work for you, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like you're never gonna get better at what you're doing. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of people out there that see AI as just the end all be all, right? But I think that's the extreme. I think it's easy to see that because that's the extreme point of view, and those people who see it like that are just pushing it so hard, right? Like they see it in a kind of a clouded way, and so they're trying to push that onto everybody because they think it's the best, right? If they're using it for everything, if they think it's the best of the best and can be used for everything, why wouldn't they push it to everybody? So those are the people out there. Those are the people you see all the time because they're the big energy, the catchy statements, the big, you know, like the big promises, the big delivering. Not big delivering, just big promises, I guess. So that's what you see. Exactly. Yeah, the rose-tinted glasses. But that's not the truth of it. And I like the more people I feel like you talk to, at least anecdotally for me at least, most people tend to agree. I feel like that AI is not, it's not the end all be all. You can't use it for everything. It's good for basic stuff. It's good to do basic tasks really fast, right? if I want to write a quick PowerShell script, I'll probably use AI because I'm not like I could figure it out, right? Like PowerShell's the quick PowerShell script. You usually know what you want to do, and then you're like, oh well, not exactly sure the syntax on this or this exact keyword or how this is needs to be structured. But it's pretty quick and easy, right? And there's multiple right answers, multiple ways to do it. And so AI is good at stuff like that. And I don't care to be the best at PowerShell, right? Like I don't necessarily, for me, getting it done fast, getting that script cranked out in 10 seconds is more important than knowing that syntax by heart. So I don't mind using AI. One thing that concerns me is that, let's say it does become the end all be all. I just don't see it being that. Like, I really just don't. Not in the near future, right? Like, the AI of today cannot be the end all be all. It just can't. It doesn't have that capability. Devs specifically that don't make their own are going to be leagues behind those who do deeply understand. If it does become the best of the best, like if in the future you have to use AI, if you're not using it right now, you're not going to be as good in the future. Is that what you're saying? No mic? Did it cut out? The cord has been acting funky today. I don't know what's going on with it. It should be fine now. It looks like it's doing fine. Are we... Oh, okay. Yeah, the cord has been, like, weird. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, no, less of not being good because lack of use. Okay. Then I'm not sure exactly if that's not what you're going, because I've heard that argument before where people are like, oh, you're not gonna be as good because everyone's been using AI and you haven't been using AI. So I have heard that argument, but seems like that's not exactly what you're saying. Someone who can work with lower level information will be a lot more proficient. Like devs who don't are you saying that like devs that don't make their own? Oh wait, hold on. At least in this cause where the ecosystem has people who made their own tools. Yeah, so you're saying that people who make AI are going to know the ins and outs of AI better, and so they're going to be better at using it and developing because we're going to use AI to develop everything. Yeah. Each line needs to be indented properly. Formatted page markdown. Each line needs to be indented properly. Yep. If Dev A needs to do this and doesn't regularly flex programming each tool, they will struggle to define the prompt. Dev B can define the prompt and create it and find the access to it. So is the difference between Dev A and Dev B that Dev A is not as good as like prompting and using the AI, or is this more about yeah. Yeah, you're saying that Dev B is just more knowledgeable about how to prompt and how the AI works. Okay, Dev A and B study differently, apply themselves differently. So in that case, right, if you're Dev A and you're focusing and studying the code itself, that's going to give you not necessarily a better or worse, but a very different. I mean, I would say it's better, but it's going to give you a different skill set for sure than Dev B, who's constantly using the AI and doesn't know the code as well, right? And I mean, personally, I would think that knowing what you want the AI to do is better than knowing how to get the AI to do things. Right? Because Dev B knows how to get the AI to do anything. It knows how to get the AI to do stuff. But how does Dev B know if that stuff is correct? And yeah, you can say there's tests. You can say, well, he can just test the code. He can run the code and go through it. He can see by the output. But Dev A is going to know if, even if the output is correct, then the actual code might be not proficient for the future. It might cause errors in the future. Like they're going to be able to see a lot more things that are code specific as opposed to output specific. Because if you put me in a room with somebody else that's been coding for 15 years and you tell us to code the same thing, we're going to do it completely differently, and I'm probably going to do it worse, you know? Dev A doesn't know what a unit test is, most likely. Oh, wait, well, hold on. Dev B makes something and can most likely create a unit test for it. Dev A doesn't know what a unit test is, most likely. A was AI. Oh, so you're saying the AI doesn't know what a unit test is? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I just think AI will know what it is. Okay. But the other dev doesn't. Okay, wait. Yeah. Okay, the dev wants to code. Yeah, right. Like, the dev should know. Even the dev obviously. Okay, yeah, the dev is gonna know what the unit test is. That makes sense. Like, they should, even if they are using AI. But it's not always like the unit tests don't cover everything, and then also, how does he know? Like, there's just so many intricacies of code, and especially once you start building out your code base and your project gets bigger and bigger, there's a lot more dependencies, there's a lot more calls to other areas, there's more classes, there's just more everything, right? It's so much easier for it just becomes spaghetti, right? And I mean, unit test integration tests should be doable for the most things now. should be, but also you can fix a unit test or an integration test in multiple ways usually, right? Like it's not just, there's not one distinct way to fix a test. Or sometimes, I guess even sometimes there is one distinct way to fix it. But how does the AI distinguish between that? How does the AI know? I don't know. I just think that all code there isn't a binary solution. Yeah. I just find it hard, and maybe I can't come up with, you know, some sort of definitively correct answer. But I think there's two big things. For one, I don't think it is going to hurt you to know more about the code. I don't think that's going to hurt you at all. Even if in the future everybody's using AI to code because it's faster, I think the people that know how to code are still going to have they're still going to have better skills. Like Python, for example, right? Not Python, JavaScript. That's what I meant. JavaScript, web dev. Everybody uses a framework, right? Everybody uses Angular or React or whatever. But just because you learned JavaScript before frameworks existed, before frameworks were super popular, that doesn't mean that your JavaScript skills aren't useless, right? Just because now we use frameworks and we're not, just because it's not the same, or even if you learned React and then you go to a company that's using Vue or Vite or something, that doesn't mean that all your prior skills are useless, and that doesn't even necessarily mean that you're worse than somebody who's been coding in only Vue. You might be behind in some of those specific components, but it's a lot easier to skill up when you have that surrounding knowledge, right? The people who know how to code will more likely be the ones who can make tools that can code faster than the current average. Yeah, exactly. I feel like you're agreeing with me. I feel like that statement is kind of along with what I'm saying, right? I feel like it's not. So yeah, I feel like you learning how to code. Yeah. Okay. Right. Like this makes. I'm also trying to make sure it makes sense. Like what I say is making sense to even myself, right? But yeah, it's not just, I don't think not using an AI now is putting you at a drastically disadvantageous spot. I think knowing more code now is going to make it easier for you to code with AI in the future, simply because you know more code, right? I think that's important to remember. And using AI now, and you have to remember too, the AI now is obviously, and you agreed with this earlier, it's not at all it's not at all ready to do all the programming, right? We've seen countless examples. You cannot say, hey, AI, do this. It's not going to be able to do it if it's any reasonably sized project. Yeah, 100%. People who are using AI are doing a disservice themselves when they're trying to learn programming. There's people who are out there and they're like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business person. I have an idea for a product. I'm not technical enough to build it. And so I'm just going to tell an AI to do it. That's fine. If you're trying to go fast and trying to ship, that's understandable. If you're a student or you're trying to transition to be into a career in tech and you're using AI to write code and learn from that, or you're trying to do these projects and you're having AI write code for you, or even if you're a software developer, if you are a dev and you're writing code with AI, you're doing a huge disservice to yourself. First of all, who knows if that breaks company policy? Second of all, even if it doesn't, you're going to be plateauing so hard. You're going to write all this code and you're not going to be getting any better. You're not going to be learning anything from it. You're going to make the same mistakes over and over and over again because you don't remember what those mistakes are or how to solve them. You're not going to be able to recognize mistakes before you make them. And that's what makes programmers, that's what makes good programmers good. That's what makes great programmers great, is the ability to see problems 1, 2, 3, 4 steps before they happen. Yeah, and again, like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not a business person. I'm not shipping apps with AI. But I understand the use case for that. I understand the urgency, right? I don't think you should ship your entire company with AI. But I think having an MVP built with AI, or, your first rendition, your beta version, your alpha version, or whatever of your product with AI is good to get money flowing, to get investments flowing. But again, that's not me, so I don't want to speak too much on that. No, I don't think they are either. I think most of shipping products like that they're not building a huge code base. They're building a web app or something. They're building the user interface. They're building some sort of, they're essentially just allowing the business person to get customers at all, right? I think it's just trying to make that bridge between having a product and, yeah, that might be true. And again, I'm not to sound like a broken record, but that's not what I do. That's not my area. I don't know a ton about that. But I have heard that use case before, and I think that it's just using AI is really, whether you should be using AI or not is really, it comes down to your priorities in speed, longevity, scalability, and learning and personal growth, right? I think that's really what it comes down to, is you got to assess all of those things, and each one of those, depending on where you're at on the scale of that, you either want to use AI or you don't want to use AI. So you just got to assess it like that. But I mean, to answer your question again, it's not, don't be discouraged to learn coding, to practice coding. Don't be discouraged to developing. I don't really know where you're at. I don't know if you're trying to get into development, long-time developer. I don't specifically know where you're at, Beanless, but either way, definitely don't be discouraged to code, man. Coding's always going to be useful. It's computers. I don't think computers are going away anytime soon. And okay, so yeah, you're chilling, man. You're chilling. You're locked in. You got 100%. I think about it sometimes, and imagine somebody saying, "Don't learn." Bro, don't be a mechanic. Don't be a mechanic. That's gonna be a useless profession. Or don't be an electrician. That's gonna be a useless profession. Bro, electricity, cars, they're not going anywhere. Very invested at this point. Worry about the youth. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll come around. I think this is all very new. But also every single university is their computer science programs are just growing and growing and growing. If someone told me don't be an accountant 10 years ago, I would believe them. That's one thing that I don't understand how it's not been taken over by AI. I don't really understand how accounting works. But it's just numbers and math. I don't understand. In my head, it's just numbers and math. And I don't understand how that's not just computerized. Right? That's what I'm saying. As far as I understand as far as I understand accounting, you're just numbering. It's all numbers. If it's all numbers, there's no way a computer can't do it. There's no way. Like, why is there so many people that are still doing accounting? How has this not all just been automated by now? Automated, AI'd, something. I wouldn't necessarily say an AI should do it because it's financial and AI is not reliable, but right? Like how are they still existing? Accountants have a secret cult somewhere. They have a secret guild. They are doing some sort of wizardry to avoid, to stay on the map, to keep their jobs. Maybe the accountants are fighting wars against the machines that we don't know about. And that's how they're staying alive. I don't know, man. Crazy, though. I had the same thought a couple weeks ago. I was like, what is going on? Right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The secret society giving dabs? Yeah. I don't know, man. So I need to figure out how to bind the width. No, not the width and the height. It would be the top and the left. Yeah, the top and the left components I would want to be. Oh, that's not correct. It'd be this one. Yeah. Top equals type in namespace. Provides high-level access to the definition of a binding, which connects the properties of binding target objects. What if I just do like main window? Didn't like this. Doesn't like this at all. UML app dot main window question mark? Question mark? Indeed. The interesting thing is that UML app main window does exist. One last note on it. I go to Reddit and find this. Not sure what the future holds, but accountants are currently in high demand. I struggled finding one after my usual accountant was so overwhelmed I missed the filing deadline. This is the type of thing that makes me second guess my entire ability to gauge reality. What? Bro, how? I don't understand. And like accounting is known. No offense to any of the accountants out there. I apologize in advance. But accounting is 100% known to be like the most boring job ever. Like the stereotypical accountant hates their job and makes a lot of money. And they only do it because they make a lot of money. And they hate their job. And you're telling me that this hasn't been automated yet? That people are still doing this? in a world where everyone's concerned, in a world where AI is making art and music, and we can't like write a program to just accountant, right? I don't get it. It's actually crazy. Insane. There's no way they have accountants in like Singapore or like any of the ultra modernized Asian cities. There's no way they got accountants there. I don't believe it. It's just us. And accounting is such like an American thing. That's, I don't know why, but in my head, accounting is so American. Not in like a good way, just like it just is. It's so 9 to 5 office grind. It just feels very American. We're the only place that has taxes done by the people, so maybe it's that. Maybe it is. Maybe that's it. That could be the problem. There we go. So we just need to get rid of taxes. Or to stop having us do our own taxes. That would be a crazy, crazy thought. But we could just do that. Yeah, I don't know why that has the thing either. Like, why do we entrust people to do their own taxes? To tell the government how much they owe in taxes, only for them to be wrong and the government hunt them down for, you know, messing up. Right? Yeah. Like, what is this all about? What a world we live in, man. What a world. Huh. The working man will see his W-4s and relish in the fruits of his labor. Indeed. Indeed he will. Indeed he will. This is gonna be on my mind for a long time. The new accountant conspiracy. How do accountants exist in a world of computers? How are there so many people just doing numbers? The world will never know. Please use .NET to render accounts obsolete. Maybe that'll be my next project. One day you'll just see the stream headline. .NET replaces accounting. .NET versus the accountants. Exposing the accountants and overthrowing the reign of human-riddled human-riddled numberness. My channel would get taken down immediately. This video is gonna get DMCA striked. The CIA is gonna be all over this one. The grand accountant is gonna message me personally. Twitch has accountants. Of course they do. Everyone has accountants, bro. You have to. Because how else would you do it? I don't know. I'm definitely looking this up like after the stream. I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to ruin the fun. This is just I don't need to know. And I'll probably forget to do it after the stream, and then I'll just continue to never know. And it'll just be a mystery forever. So I think I have to do this. Oh, you have to have a data context. I think so. Magic calculation numbers first. Oh man. Accountants just have trust issues, man. They won't let the computer do their work for them. And like, accountants are literally like, their whole job is just Excel, isn't it? Isn't that what Excel is really for? Is accounting? So you're telling me Excel can't just accountant by itself? I feel like Excel and Copilot, maybe not Copilot, but like Excel and like Claude or ChatGPT could do it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Excel plus AI. Honestly, I don't even think AI needs to be a part of it. Like I don't know that there's enough. It literally is. I don't even know that there's enough human decision making that there needs to be an AI behind it. I think you could just logistically figure it out. Like I think it's just like a logic. What is that called? It's just a bunch of logic gates. Like it's all yes, no. It's all and ors or nots. That's it. Yeah, right. You know the craziest thing is nowadays every business major has to take a basic Python class. Any college program that I've heard of nowadays, all the business majors have to take a basic Python class. And you're telling me that they know computers exist because they use Excel every day. And they know programming exists because they had to take a Python course. And they can't do this? Maybe accountants are actually just automating their job and they don't tell anybody and they're just raking it in. I bet you that's what it is. You ever seen like those Reddit stories where it's like, yeah, I get paid $100,000 a year, but I actually automated my job 5 years ago. I don't do anything. I got a second job. That's accountants. I can't imagine having a boss. I'm gonna become an accountant. You know, an accountant. I'm gonna do accounting. Yeah. That's insane. That's definitely what it is. They're just hiding, hoping that nobody asks them what they did on Thursday. You know? If you ever meet anyone who's in charge of an accountant, tell them to ask their accountant for their work. They won't be able to show it. They automated their job. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Accounting is really just, you know, it's about 10% clicking and 90% going, you know, Jim, these numbers just aren't lining it up. These numbers just aren't lining up. I don't know, Jim. It's just, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm gonna have to figure it out. It's okay. I'll stay late tonight. I'll figure it out. And then on Monday, it's, oh, no. Yeah. We balanced it out. No big deal. I forgot the 5%. That's why I'm not accountant. Oh, you can't forget the 5% programming, man. That's the most important part. Actually, no. Acting like you actually do something is definitely the most important part. Let's be real here. I'll work on for free. Yeah, I'm gonna go home, but I'm gonna do a lot of work at home. I promise. Yeah, so we're going backwards with this. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm like an accountant. This is my equivalent to accounting. Boom. Data context, they have binding source equals. Okay. Yep. And so they actually didn't even do this. Whoops. Oh my gosh, that's not what I want to do. Source equals, I don't know. What do I put? Have a good night, Beanless. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate the chat. It was a good one. Wait, how do I put another binding? What do you mean? Doesn't make any sense. Nope. Oh, maybe. Local main window. Maybe. So what is their source? Static resource, my data source. I feel like I don't understand how this works good enough to do this, but it's okay. We're down here. It's not this, is it? This isn't what I want, right? No. This isn't what I want. It could be this. Could also be this. Yep, Windows class. Okay, so what is... Implementation of a typical window includes both appearance and behavior. Appearance is how you want it to look. Behavior defines yada yada yada. Okay, so this is the markup, right? The window element must include the X class attribute. Okay. And this is Windows overview. So this is the namespace. So it's namespace dot class. Okay, makes sense. Which is what mine does, right? Namespace dot class. Yep, that makes sense. Namespace class. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. This makes sense for sure. Now, when the application is built, the existence of X class attribute causes Microsoft Build Engine to generate a partial class that derives from window with the name that is specified by the X class attribute. This requires the addition of an XML namespace declaration for the XML schema, which is the XML namespace X. Okay. The generated partial class implements the initialized component method. Okay. In code behind, the class must be a partial class with the same name that is specified by the X class attribute in markup, which must derive from window. This allows the code behind file to be associated with the partial class that is generated for the markup file when the application is built. I think I understand. I think. I'm not entirely sure. but I think. In code behind, Windows class must implement a constructor. Okay. So what's all this stuff? This is just the namespace. This is the this is the XAML schema. What is this? And this. What is this, Minecraft? I don't think so. It doesn't go over any of this. Like, namespace local? What does that mean? I want to see what all these things mean. That's what I want to know. There's not a... Wait. It might be in here, actually. Hold on, guys. I might be overreacting. Where's the XMLNS? XMLNS. It's not even on here. It's not even on here. Wait, here. No. XMLNS. Bruh. Be so for real. What do you mean it's not on here? What? What? I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. It's probably something like this, isn't it? It's not at all what I wanted. It's not really it. It's not really it, guys. What time is it? 55. I did not get a single thing on my list on today. But I guess we had a good chat. We had a good chat, so that was good. That was good. I'll take a good chat any day of the week. So this must be local because that's the namespace has been defined. So that must be it. But now what? Do I get a thing here? Can I do a... Can I do something with this? Or no? It still is a question mark for data context. I don't know what that really means. I don't know what that means. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Alright, well... Oh no. JK. Okay, just kidding. I lied. Oh, where was this? Where was this at? It was here, right? No. Oh, here. It was here. Oh, my goodness. We have the data context. I don't know what this is. Alright, well I guess I'm gonna do, if I do graph, because I'm doing it in graph, right? I want graphics, I want graph. Oh, no, I want grid. Haha, I lied. I want grid. I'm sorry. That was my bad. My bad, G. There's no grid? What do you mean? Bro, I know there's a grid. Don't lie to me. Don't be lying to me. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Why was that not on top? Like, why would you not have that on top? That doesn't make any sense. Fields? Okay, is resources in here? Yes. Let's open this. And let's open data context. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So resource dictionaries that can be defined completely or partially in XML, typically created as a property element and typically on the root element for any individual page or for the application. Placing the resource dictionary at this level makes it easier to find from individual child elements in the page. Most application areas recommend that styles be defined as object elements within a resource dictionary, or be defined as external resources so that an entire style resource can be self-contained. This property returns only the resource dictionary declared directly within that element. Alright. Interesting. Interesting. Data context, pretty straightforward. It gets or sets the data context for an element when it participates in data binding. So data context is the concept that allows elements to inherit information from their parent elements about the data source that is used for binding, as well as other characteristics of the binding such as the path. Data context can be set directly to a .NET object with the bindings evaluating to that property of that object. Alternatively, you can set the data context to a data source provider object. Okay. If you say so. If you say so. Did I just get a notification on her? No. No. My browser's just tripping. It's nothing important. Oh well. Alright. I'm still very confused. Don't get it twisted. Like, it's Windows Overview, Window 1. This isn't even the right one. This is the one I want. This is the one I want. So this doesn't have, well, okay, so I guess this is C is clear namespace SDK sample. Is that what we also have? Do we also have that? Is that what we're doing? We don't have a C. But I think it's the same vibe. I think it's the same vibe. I don't know why this is C my data X key. Do I just not know how XML works? That could be the problem. Maybe this isn't a Microsoft thing. This is an XML thing. But again, why if these are all part of, so it's part of doc panel, right? Well, at this point, it seems like namespace can be included in anything, right? It's interesting. Well, that's why I searched XMLNS, because I was confused. Is it this? No, it's just a getter. Just a get. Oh, I guess it's a property. Yeah, that makes sense. Apply one or more. Is this the same thing? Yeah, it is. Yep, it is. In an XML file, if the XMLNS attribute for an object element or property element matches the XML namespace, the XML processor uses the clear namespace in the assembly name stored for the attribute for type resolution. Alright, that's not what I thought that was going to be. Yeah, no, not what I thought that was going to be. Alright guys, I think that's a wrap for me. I'm pretty confused, so I think that's a good time to call it. But thanks for hopping on. I will be back on, plot twist. Keep your eyes open, your ears peeled, and your Discord notifications on, because I might be completely whirlwinding the schedule. Might be completely different. We shall see. It'll depend on how committed I stay. But there might be some weird hours. So, as I said, keep your keep an eye out. It'll be this weekend though. This weekend for sure I'll be on. Don't know when, but I'll be on this weekend. But seriously guys, thanks for hopping on. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you all have a good rest of your night. And see you this weekend. Peace.